WWE has officially moved on from SummerSlam as we begin to look forward to the next big pay-per-view on September 26th, Extreme Rules. Following his win over Goldberg at SummerSlam, Bobby Lashley and Sheamus teamed up for a tag team match against Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest on last week's Raw. Lashley was supposed to battle Sheamus this week, but WWE changed course and booked the Celtic Warrior in a different match. Last week also saw the official breakup of Eva Marie and Doudrop. The former Piper Niven was giving an interview when Marie attacked her with an equipment crate. This week, Doudrop was given a chance to get some payback on her former quote-unquote mentor. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's episode of Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats, and of course, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson. And in a way, I got to give a shout out to Didi Woodson because tonight's Raw was in her old stomping grounds, folks. The Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, exclusively on the USA Network. And we started it off with a very chaotic opening segment. The United States Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest, he came out because he was going to issue an open challenge. You know, a lot like what John Cena did years ago. He issued an open challenge, and then Sheamus came out, and we're thinking, oh, great, here we go, Priest and Sheamus again. But then, no. Moments later, Drew McIntyre comes out and says, hey, the U.S. title is the one title that I've never won. I've won the WWE title. I've won the Intercontinental title. I've been a tag team champion. So why not make me a Grand Slam champion? And then Bobby Lashley and MVP come out and run their mouths. And then shortly after, RK Bro comes out. But then Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville quickly put an end to the chaos by announcing that Damian Priest would defend the United States Heavyweight Championship against both Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in a triple threat match. Wait till you hear what we have to say about that one. And then on top of that, Team RK Bro, Randy Orton and Riddle, would defend the Raw Tag Team Championship against Bobby Lashley and MVP. The segment was fine if a little crowded. Priest opening the show was a nice change of pace, especially since it looks like he is finally done with The Miz and John Morrison. MVP being booked for a tag match with Lashley means the advertised bout between Lashley and Sheamus was canceled. And Michael Bullock said it best during our Raw chat tonight. He said, and I quote, it was an unnecessary segment and a waste of time. But you always like to see these, these combustible, crazy segments once in a while. So, but 2-for-1 deal. Well, actually, no, not a 2-for-1 deal. So, because we had a completely different match after this, but yeah. So we're not gonna waste too much time on it. It was basically your run of the mill cookie cutter, set the agenda segment that we've grown and loved, that we have grown to love for so many years on this show. So we're not going to waste any time on that because I know Bullock's not going to want to waste time on it because he said it was a waste of time. So, but we're going to get into our first match of the night, as it was Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. This definitely conjures up memories, especially for Michael Bullock. December 18th, 2019. We'll never forget it. The night Rhea Ripley ended Shayna Baszler's dominant run as the NXT Women's Champion on that NXT show with that legendary mosh pit in the ring afterwards. And just like on December 18th of 2019, Rhea Ripley defeats Shayna Baszler 10.5 minutes. It's the time of the fall here. WWE needs to decide if it wants to break Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler up and just pull the trigger. This back and forth stuff is starting to wear thin. Baszler looked vicious during the first half of the bout, which is how she should always be booked. This was one of the first times since her breakout performance at the Elimination Chamber 2020 that she has had a chance to shine on her own. The friendship between Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH is still a work in progress, but they could grow into an entertaining duo with the right opportunities. This was a physical contest with some great technique. Both women came away from this looking like dangerous competitors, which is not always an easy thing to do in a singles match. I'll give this a solid 3 stars for the effort. One of many quality matches on this show tonight, and hard to believe I'm saying that, but it's true. So not much more to say. MF, Rhea Ripley knocking off Shayna Baszler 10.5 minutes, just like she did on December 18th of 19 to end her long dominant NXT Women's title run.
3 stars for me. Solid battle and a good fight. And there was that limb manipulation, the thing that made Anthony Florio squirm more than anything else by Shayna Baszler. And you could tell Rhea was selling the injury really good, especially the hand and the arm. She was trying to shake it to try to get some of that feeling back in. So yeah, there was some good wrestling psychology. There was some good action here. I don't think there was anything bad. I thought it was very enjoyable. So yeah, 3 stars. Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, 3 stars for me. I mean, yes, this definitely conjured up memories for me from that December when Rhea Ripley ended the run of Shayna Baszler as NXT Women's Champion. But yeah, I mean, this was definitely a good way to start off the matches portion of the show. So 3 stars for me. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree. 3 stars. Very good opener. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
All right. Let's see. Then we had the Viking Raiders squaring off against Jinder Mahal and Veer. Viking Raiders win in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. We're going to bypass this. It was a quick but somewhat fun little tag team match. Mahal and Veer made a good team, but Eric and Ivar were the real stars here. The best part about this is that it looks like WWE is trying to build up some competition in the Raw tag team division. The trio of Veer, Shanky, and Mahal could become like the New Day and cycle people in and out of matches. So 2 stars for that effort. Oh, you better believe we're going to get into this. I know we're going to have a lot to say about this. Triple threat match for the United States Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Damian Priest, defending against both Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Winner of the match in 21.5 minutes, and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest, pinning Drew McIntyre. Yes, you heard me right. He pinned Drew McIntyre with the Reckoning. MF, all I can say is perhaps the Raw match of the year for 2021 thus far. Unbelievable.
Perhaps the Raw match of the year? Hell no, Anthony Florio. You're looking at the Raw match of the year.
Amen.
4.5 stars. I can't give it the full 5, but damn it to hell, this was without a doubt the best triple threat match we have seen in a very, very long time. Without a doubt, tonight, Damian Priest became a star right before our very eyes on Monday Night Raw. He took the brass ring and made it an unbelievable performance tonight. Drew McIntyre will not lose any stock on this loss, even though he lost clean. He's a hell of a competitor. So is Sheamus. He won't lose any momentum because of this. Tonight, this was Damian Priest's coming out party more than anything else on Monday Night Raw. And without a doubt, he has proven that with this win tonight, he's not only a credible United States heavyweight champion, but now I can actually now go forward and say maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, I could see him as a Universal or WWE champion now. Like he is fast tracked to that pathway. Tonight was a night that he needed more than anything else. And this victory solidifies this big moment for him. Without a doubt, he had a great moment at WrestleMania. You know, but I know a lot of people talk about Bad Bunny more than Damian Priest, which is fine. But since he came back, he has started to elevate himself. They gave him the U.S. title, and a lot of people's like, was that the right move? This confirms that not only was this the right move, this is an excellent move. And now you can see that WWE and the corporate suits are actually high on Damian Priest because they let him go over really the frontline soldier of Monday Night Raw. They let him get the pin on Drew McIntyre. Who in the hell would have thought that happened?
Not me, boy.
Who?
Not me, boy. Absolutely not.
Without a doubt, tonight, Damian Priest is now skyrocketing on that ladder, and he is going higher and higher and higher. They strapped the jetpack on the back, and they lit that fuse. He's a credible United States champion. That's a significant win for his career tonight. And like I said, they might be starting a fast track to him for bigger and better moments down the line. Again, Drew will not be hurt by the loss. Without a doubt, he will not be hurt by the loss. This was a great performance by Drew. So is Sheamus. This was hard-hitting. This was downright bowling shoe ugly. This was be a man as be a man could be. This was an excellent match. Excellent match. 4.5 stars. The only reason why I'm not giving it the full 5, where, you know, there's some debate about that. Should this be 5? It's not 5 because it was slow in a couple of parts. The finish was amazing, but it was a little slow and plotty early on. So it built a great story. But I'm going to say this. If you would have given me maybe 5 more minutes, then I pulled the trigger for 5. But this is easily 4.5. Easily fight of the night. And I will say it with conviction, with certainty, and there's no BS coming from this panelist. Match of the year for Monday Night Raw 2021.
Amen.
Michael Bullock, it is yours, my brother.
And how much fun did we have with this during our Raw chat, Bullock?
Oh, we had a whole heck of a lot of fun with this one. Because, man, oh man, this was definitely a match that we all enjoyed. 4.5 stars, fight of the night, and definitely the Raw match of the year. I mean, they let these guys, let them tell a story, and they certainly hit a home run with it. And both of these men should be commended for what they did tonight. They definitely should be. I mean, this was definitely a home run with these guys. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't get the full 5 because it did start off slow, but man, oh man, it really picked up at the end. So there's really nothing more to say. Dee, what's in it is yours.
Now, this is what a wrestling show is all about. You have one awesome match here. Definitely the match of the night. I definitely agree with the ratings. I mean, they just they tore it up. Yeah, it was a slow beginning, but I mean, it just picked up and picked up and picked up, and they did a great job. I mean, there's not much you can say about it. I mean, they took it to that extreme level that you can take it in a triple threat and surpassed it. So yeah, I have nothing else really to say. So what's yours, Florio?
This is a proud papa moment for me, man. I mean, I have been dying for a pay-per-view quality match like this on Monday Night Raw and forever. And I can't remember the last time we saw a match of this caliber on Monday Night Raw. I mean, this was just wow. This was three big dudes beating the hell out of each other. What more could you want out of a professional wrestling match? The feud between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre is well-traveled territory, but adding Damian Priest and the United States Heavyweight Championship to the mix helped make this feel less like just another chapter in their ongoing story. It felt fresh. All three men looked fantastic in this performance and helped make Raw's mid-card title feel important. This bout would have been right at home on any pay-per-view card and would have been one of the highlights. Damian Priest beating two former WWE champions is definitely his biggest win to date. Go on the record right now. I consider this win the biggest win of Damian Priest's career. This is even bigger than when he won the United States Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Anytime you beat Sheamus and Drew McIntyre and you pin Drew McIntyre, who's been the face of Raw, especially during this pandemic era, I mean, wow. Bigger and better things are on the horizon for this young man, and quite frankly, it's about damn time that we built a fresh new star. I mean, I've been begging WWE, when are we going to have a fresh new star? And tonight we finally got it. There's no doubt about it. Damian Priest is on his way, and I don't 2 to 3 years. That might be a little. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, but definitely down the road, light years down the road, Damian Priest will be a future WWE or Universal Champion, no doubt about it. We'll have to wait and see what happens come the draft, whenever that is. But what a moment, what a match! I mean, somebody called the OKC PD because them boys just stole the dang show here tonight. So I don't know what else there is to say. So wow. But anyways, and then they put in perfect cooldown stuff here. 24/7. They had another 24/7 vignette. But this was an even bigger and even better cooldown. Eva Marie and Doudrop. The match never happened because Doudrop squashed Eva Marie like a bug, pretty much. No match, not much to rate. Doudrop clearly could have won easily. So it's weird that WWE felt the need to extend this feud by booking it this way. Crowd was pretty quiet for all of this too. Can't say I blame them. Then we had Humberto Carrillo squaring off against Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross wins the match. 4 minutes and 15 seconds. I mean, it's another dominant win for Kross. I mean, yes, you can call him Farouk Assad 2.0 because of the whole ensemble there, but Kross went from being an interesting character in NXT to being a reject from Demolition in about a month. It's truly remarkable how WWE has bungled his transition to the main roster without Scarlett. Short, uneventful match that barely scratched the surface of what either of these competitors can do. What they did do looked good, but it wasn't enough. Crowd gave Kross almost no reaction. Kind of sad because he's actually a good wrestler who could be a huge star with the right booking, like a Damian Priest. So 1 star, 1 to 1.5 for that effort. All right. Now we're going to get into a match where, on paper, this is not a good match. It's two of the least likable women on Monday Night Raw. The Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, squaring off against Nia Jax, non-title match. Winner of the match, 13 minutes and 55 seconds, Nia Jax. Michael Bullock, Phenom. We talked about it during our Raw chat, and let's talk about it again here. Could this be a possible championship committee moment for Nia Jax? She just pinned the champion here.
I think it could be a possible championship committee moment for her, and where she could get a future title shot. But I think there's one person that has something to say about it, and that's Alexa Bliss, because as we saw last week, when Alexa confronted Charlotte Flair. So yeah, so you got two different sides who make a case. I mean, Alexa Bliss did last week, but man, Nia Jax really did make her case here tonight. So we'll wait and see how they go about with this. So I'm gonna give this about 3.25 stars. I mean, this was a good match. I mean, when I first heard of this, I thought maybe this wasn't going to be as good, but it definitely was. So, yeah, nice big win here for Nia Jax. So, nothing else for me to say except Dee Woodson. It is yours.
Yeah, I'll agree with the rating. It was a pretty good match. After the interference that Nia did at the end of the Shayna's match, she's trying to prove she's a bruiser, and I think she pretty much did it, taking out the Raw Women's Champion along with, the girls earlier in the night. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It was a good match and good placement for the match. So, it's yours, Florio.
I'm going to go as far as to call this the sleeper fight of the night here. I mean, surprisingly good. Surprisingly, the crowd started to get behind Nia Jax and chanted her name as she controlled the early part of the match. She might be a heel, but the crowd was more in the mood to boo Charlotte. What else is new there? They worked a smart pace and used their individual strengths to their advantage. Jax focused on her power while the Queen tried to use her speed and agility to stay out of her grasp. The match got more intense as it went and almost looked like it turned into a real fight for a few seconds when they started slapping each other. It added some brutality that made the whole thing more fun to watch, but it'll be interesting to find out if they went off script. But no, 3.25, teetering on 3.5 stars, and I'll go as far as to say, like I said, sleeper fight of the night. I had no hopes for this going in, but MF, these two surprised the hell out of me. They gave us that good of a... Yes, I know it might have been sloppy in a few parts, but this match ended up being a lot better than expected, despite the fact that these are the two most hated women on Raw.
And just to clarify, Anthony, you were actually wondering if there was a shoot, if the slaps were a shoot. Confirmed. That was a shoot fight. That was a shoot. That broke out. Yeah. It looks like there was a little bit of some backstage commotion in the back. Apparently, WWE officials are not happy with Nia or Charlotte right about now. The slaps were legit. There's some genuine beef that went down in that ring tonight, Anthony. So I can confirm that was a shoot that broke out. So yeah, you were wondering if it was a shoot fight. It's been confirmed by multiple sources that yes, Charlotte and Nia had a shoot moment in the match. And yes, those slaps were genuine. They were not holding back on either one. So this gonna be a little bit of some drama and maybe a fine coming from WWE brass coming to both Charlotte and Nia for going off script during the match. But you know what? I don't mind it. I like it. I like when things doesn't go according to plan. That makes the match more real, and I think that's one thing that WWE kind of misses the boat on, the realism. I know everything is supposed to be status quo, everything else, but sometimes when tempers tend to flare or you do something that another person don't like, a good little conk in the head doesn't hurt. And I know there's a few times where a couple of guys, I remember there was one, I think there was one moment where Triple H ducked a dude for real, gave him a little extra oomph, because somebody missed a spot or something, or was doing some hot dogging. So no, there's gonna be a little bit of some talking to in the back tonight. But you know what? It's awesome. This is 3.25 stars. Yes, it's a little surprising, better than anything else. But to confirm Anthony Florio's suspicions about was there a shoot fight that broke out? Absolutely, there was. Florio, it's yours.
Okay, so with that being said, let's move on here. Then we had now there was supposed to be a match with John Morrison and The Miz. That did not happen. Something must have happened to The Miz that we didn't know about. So John Morrison in the back saying, "Oh, I want to impress my acting coach, and I'm going to go for I'm going to challenge the biggest guy I know to a match." He challenged Omos. Dude, do you have a death wish or something? Do you know how big this guy is? Have you seen how dominant he's been? Well, big boy, you found that out firsthand because Omos squashed your ass in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. I mean, what else is there to say on this? I mean,
I love Dave, John Morrison's guts, but Johnny Drip, that was the wrong guy to go after. Wrong guy to go after.
Big time. WWE advertised John Morrison versus The Miz and Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus and didn't deliver on either promise. The only advertised match to take place was Eva Marie versus Doudrop. So management was clearly writing this show right up until it started. It looked like Jomo would get a babyface push after his breakup with The Miz, so it was a strange decision to have him lose so quickly to Omos in a throwaway match. There was no real explanation for The Miz's absence, so it was probably travel issues or something along those lines. Either way, this was a weird booking decision. So 1 star for this. Then we had Xavier Woods going one-on-one with the phenomenal AJ Styles. I'll tell you from firsthand experience, these two are no strangers to one another. These two have had plenty of matches, especially in the days of NWA TNA. AJ Styles versus Xavier Woods, who was back then known as Consequences Creed. And the phenomenal one picks up the win, 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Didi Woodson, fun little sprint, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was a fun little sprint. They did a pretty good job with this. I mean, compared to what we had before it, I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, Johnny's had one too many hits with his dripstick. That's the only thing I can think of for that one. Why the heck he would go to Omos of all people. But yeah, this one compared to that last one, this was definitely a nice little sprint. I'm probably going to give it about 3 stars. I mean, it was a fairly good match. I mean, they did very well. These two work great off of each other, and yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I mean, it was a very good match. AJ picked up the win and did a great job. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, fun little sprint indeed. 2 3/4 to 3 stars. Xavier Woods has been in the tag team for so long that it's easy to forget just how good he is on his own. He and Styles have worked together many times over the years, as I just mentioned from their TNA days, so it wasn't surprising to see them put on a solid performance. Omos had no involvement, so this was a pure singles match between two guys who are known for their exciting offense and innovative ideas. Even though he lost, it's been nice to see Woods get some time to shine on his own while Kofi Kingston is out of action. He should be in consideration for a US or IC title reign at some point. Like I said, it'll all depend on when the draft goes down, where he ends up. So not much more to say here. 2 3/4 to 3 stars for this. So MF, fun little sprint, as we always like to say.
Yeah, enjoyable, fun little sprint, and yeah, And I do remember those days when, like you said, I still remember those days as well when AJ Styles and Consequences Creed went at each other in TNA. So yeah, absolutely. I remember that rivalry very well as well. So it was a good battle. It was a good fight. 3.25 stars. Agreed. Mike Bullock is yours.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a fun little sprint here. I certainly enjoyed it. 3 stars is definitely my rating. I mean, yeah, good work by both men. I mean, yeah. So there's really nothing more to say. I think Florio, I think it's time for the main event.
I believe you're right. As soon as I get my notes up here, yes. Main event of the evening, Raw Tag Team Championships on the line. The champions, RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Riddle, defending against the almighty WWE Champion Bobby Lashley and MVP. Golden opportunity for the almighty to become a double champion. As the Luge would say, nah, honey, not tonight. Randy Orton and Riddle, they win the match. They successfully defend the titles, 12.5 minutes. Yeah, WWE has been booking a lot of rematches lately, but this week's show seemed to break away from that trend, and this match was one of the prime examples. MVP looked great for a guy who has barely wrestled this year, but Orton was the one who was getting the most love from the crowd. He is as over as any other babyface in the company right now. This was a good main event, but it's hard not to think Sheamus, Priest, and McIntyre would have been better suited for this spot. This week's show had more hits than misses, which is not something we can say about most weeks. At least half of what took place tonight was worth checking out. This was easily 3.5 stars. Another great matchup here. So there isn't much more to say. I know I'm going to make good old MF Michael Fletcher very happy with what I'm about to say here as I give it to him. MF, not only do the champions do the champions stay the champions, but who ended up getting the last word at the end of the night with an RKO out of nowhere on the champ?
Yeah. Oh. Randy, are you looking at that goal? Is your voices in the head telling you to go after the WWE Championship? I hope so, because man, you just laid a mission statement on Bobby Lashley's head. He's probably wondering what the heck was that. Well, I'll tell you what that was. That was an RKO out of nowhere. And you know it. The thing was, look, the thing was, Bobby Lashley picked a fight. Bobby was trying to pick on the little man, going after Riddle, and trying to was beating him up. And Randy, being I guess, the good guy that he is, just said, okay, pick on someone your own size. Next thing you know, kaboom! Down he goes, out he went, and next thing I know, I was marking out like a crazy man because I'm thinking, oh, Randy with his infamous RKO out of nowhere. And this time, he tagged the WWE champion with it. I'm like, ooh, this just got interesting. So now Orton has a situation because it seems like everybody is predicting that Goldberg versus Lashley will happen at Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel now. It looks like that's what they're setting for. Okay, fine. But we still need a match for September. We still need a match for Extreme Rules. Why not let's do this? Randy Orton, one-on-one with Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. I know the fans will rally around Randy Orton, and plus this gives Orton a little something to do. You know, Yeah, he'll be a tag champion, but now he gets the opportunity at being a double champ. I know Orton probably won't win it, which is probably going to break my heart, but it probably won't break the hearts of these three others, because Orton has a love hate with these guys. There's days you love Randy Orton, and there's moments where you're just like, Randy, what are you doing? So we'll see. It's gonna get interesting now. So yeah, solid main event. The right team won, by the way, but that also makes the one other thing very interesting, because remember, AJ and Omos were at ringside and they kind of try to stick their nose where it didn't belong in the fight either. So obviously AJ and Omos are definitely after the Raw Tag titles. Now Orton might have just picked a fight with the WWE champion. Oh, it's about to get very interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Bullock, it's yours. Solid main event, 3 stars for me.
Yeah, I'll give it 3 stars for the main event. I mean, a solid main event. No surprise with the outcome, but yeah, I mean, Bobby Lashley tried to pick a fight at the end with the little guy and Riddle, and Orton wasn't going to have any of it, and hit the RKO on the champ. So basically, like you said, telling Bobby Lashley, why don't you pick on somebody your own size? And I think after that, I think you're looking at the next number 1 contender for that WWE Championship. So, yeah, I mean, the only question is, when will it happen? We're just going to have to wait and see. So, there's really nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the rating. I mean, yeah, it was a good ending for Raw. Yeah, it would have been better to have the fight of the night there instead, but you know, it is what it is. This was still good in its own right. No, we didn't really need AJ and Omos to stay out there. We didn't need them to get involved, but yeah, Orton put Lashley in his place, just like Goldberg wants to do, for the same reasons most of us got upset with Lashley at the last pay-per-view. And yeah, Orton did what he had to do, and I think it could possibly open up a match. It may not be in the title for the title, but I have a feeling they're going to have some sort of a match against each other in the coming weeks, and maybe if we're lucky, Extreme Rules, we will possibly have Orton versus Lashley for the title. But I think before we get there, we may have one more match against them, where if Orton wins, then you'd have your committee moment. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
All right, and now we're going to get into our overall thoughts on this show. MF, what a night in OKC tonight. One of the best. I could probably say this might have been the best Raw since they left the dinky old Thunderdome.
I have to agree. I think I'm actually going to do something that I never, ever, ever thought I would be able to do in a very long time. 8 out of 10 from Monday Night Raw. That is the highest rating we've given Raw in a very, very, very long time. I mean, 8 out of 10. This was a tremendous show. It had its flaws. It did. There was a couple of matches that were kind of throwaways that I think we can all agree not as great as we thought, but it delivered in the big quality matches, and that's what we were looking at. The triple threat for the U.S. title, without a doubt, go out of your way to watch this. It doesn't matter if it's on demand on the USA Network or if Peacock gets it, which I think they stream it the next day. If you're not in the United States, if you're outside of the USA, get this on the WWE Network. Go out of your way to watch this match. This match alone gives you almost, I mean, just that match alone is like a 9.5 out of 10. Like just that alone. But this was a tremendous night. You know, the main event was fine. The match in between with the women between Nia and Charlotte was actually better than expected. And you got a shoot fight out of it too, which is even better. I think if WWE, and I'm going to say this, I would like to see more shoot fights. I know. That's going to cause a little ruckus and a little trouble. I get it. I hear you. But come on. I mean, would it be a problem to at least have a little bit of some mix-upness, get a little crazy, a little chaos in the fight? No. I mean, look, you're competing against AEW now. And AEW has raised the bar so much that I think it's time that WWE kind of stop playing this PGBS and start getting a little more realistic with their wrestling. I actually was more enthralled with some of the stuff that they did tonight. So I don't know. You know what? Maybe they did do a lot of rewriting right at the very end, right up to the last hour before the show. And you know what? Tonight, all those rewrites, all that stuff, all that changes, it worked. This is one of the rare times where they probably threw their original ideas out the window, probably made a lot of stuff on the fly, but I can say without a doubt, tonight, this was one of those good nights from Monday Night Raw. There should be no complaints whatsoever by any wrestling fans whatsoever here tonight because of the fact that this was actually a good show. There should be zero complaints from the IWC and everybody else. This show here tonight was a solid show from beginning to end. Yeah, you can poo-poo about there's some moments in the middle, cool down crap and whatnot. I'll give you that. But as far as it being a whole, no complaints from this guy. 8 out of 10. By far one of the best Monday Night Raws of 2021. Bullock is yours.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely one of the best Raws in a long time. 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, yeah, you did have some stuff that pretty much was left to be desired, but all the other stuff, especially that triple threat for the U.S. title, you got to go out of your way to watch that. I mean, some of the other matches, I mean, they were good as well, and yeah, just by the way it was done tonight was pretty good. I mean, nobody should be poo-pooing all over this one, including a certain someone that we know here. Yeah, I'm talking about Derek Ferreira. I really hope he doesn't poo-poo all over this show, because I'll tell you this right now, guys. If he does, watch out. I'm going to channel my inner Phenom, and not in a good way towards him if he poo-poos all over it. So, all in all, this was a solid show. 8 out of 10. Dee Whitson, it is yours.
Yeah, I could go 8 out of 10. I mean, this was one of the better Raws that we've had in a while, and they've gotten better on some of the storyline building. I mean, we definitely had some good matches, good storylines that popped out of it, and definitely that triple threat. That's definitely the best match of the night, without a doubt, hands down. But yeah, I mean, didn't have a whole lot of cutouts. Didn't have a lot of the nonsense that we'd have with Miz being there. Since he was who knows where. And even some of the nonsense stuff actually made sense. So yeah, I have nothing negative to say about it at all. It was a fairly good show. So I'm gonna head out. Hopefully, I'll see you guys Friday. I gotta go catch up to Birthday Boy. So good night.
All right. And on behalf of all of us here, we would like to send our birthday wishes to Kevin as well. So so there is to say there. So yeah. So with that being said, let's get into our into my Tony's take here. And well, for me anyways, I 100% agree. It was indeed an 8 out of 10. I mean, 7.5 to 8. I mean, man alive. I mean, like I said.
Florio, to your show Monday Night Raw, in the immoral words of John Mita Perel, take a bow.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna take a bow tonight, and that definitely puts some pressure on SmackDown for the first time in a long time. So, but don't worry, SmackDown will be up for the challenge, especially with the big main event they got on Friday night, when Roman Reigns and Finn Balor go at it for the Universal Championship. So, that's going to be all kinds of epicness. But anyways, 7.5 to 8 for me. I mean, yeah, we had our usual cutouts and all that, but not as many as we usually get. I think we only had like 2 or 3 on this show tonight. So, but that U.S. triple threat, you got to go out of your way to see that, because that was, wow. Raw match of the year. Charlotte and Nia Jax, they put together a surprisingly great match, despite the fact that they are the 2 most hated women on the Raw roster, hands down. But they gave us a fun match, which I was surprised at. And then Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler, they had a solid little match as well. Styles and Woods had a very solid match as well, and the main event was great. So 5 quality matches on this show tonight. A couple of good segments here and there. Yeah, OKC. What can I say? So, so not much more to say here. Let's get into now. We're going to get into my Tony's take. Impact Wrestling kicks it off, and we had Chris Sabin versus Sami Callihan. Chris Sabin wins the match. I don't have star ratings or times or any of that. I can just, because all I have in my notes is who won and all that. So, Chris Sabin with a win over Sami Callihan. Chris Bay with a win over David Finlay. The Influence, Madison Rain, Tennille Dashwood, and Kayla with a K. They defeated Taylor Wilde in a 3-on-1 handicap match. Tag Team Championship contenders match, the Good Brothers against Rich Swann and Willie Mack. Swann and Mack actually win that match. So it was a 7 out of 10. Good follow-up for the Emergence show last week. Christian Cage entered his program with Ace Austin alongside of Tommy Dreamer. Very interesting there. The Influence picked up some momentum along with some big wins from Swann and Mack, as well as Chris Sabin. Good in-ring action and star made for a good edition of Impact Wrestling last Thursday night. So really no complaints out of this. Definitely better than the week before. That's all I can say on that. So as we start the road to the next special event, which will be on the Impact Plus, which will be on September 18, Victory Road. So we'll definitely and Christian Cage will defend the Impact World Championship against Ace Austin, as Ace Austin, as you know, won that contenders match at the Emergence show. So so coming up on Impact this upcoming week on Access TV or wherever you can get it, Ace Austin goes 1-on-1 with Tommy Dreamer. If Tommy Dreamer wins, he will be added to the Impact World Championship match at Victory Road with Christian Cage and Ace Austin. Josh Alexander, he has an open challenge to any former X Division champion to face him for the X Division championship. Very unique matchup here. Rohit Raju and Mahabali Shira will be teaming up against Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. Yeah, you heard me right. Chelsea Green is going to team up with Matt Cardona to take on Rohit Raju and Mahabali Shira. And then Taylor Wilde, Jordan Grace, and Rachel Ellering versus Madison Rain, Tennille Dashwood, and Caleb with a K. 6-person match there. So, and on the before the Impact pre-show, John Skyler will face Jake Something. So, so that all goes down Thursday night, 8 p.m. Access TV, or for those of you who don't have it, YouTube. That Impact Insider program, which is only $1 a month, so you can't really complain about that. So, so not much more to say there. So, so with that, let's get into the other half of my Tony's Take, which is 205 Live, and we started it off with Grayson Waller versus Andre Chase. Grayson Waller in 8 minutes and 45 seconds. Fun match, as I continue to be impressed with Chase. And Waller is becoming the star of the brand along with Jiro. Crowd got into it a bit towards the end due to the hard work, but weren't sure who to cheer for during the match. 3 stars. And then Ikemen Jiro against Trey Baxter. Ikemen Jiro, 8 minutes, 57 seconds. Kind of slow, but solid. Baxter looked okay, but didn't show as much as Chase has in his few appearances. Jiro continues to look like a star for this brand. Doesn't mean much, apparently. 2.5 stars. 7 out of 10. Solid show with a strong opening match and a decent main event. Waller and Jiro, they're the clear stars of the show at this point. But with neither getting a chance on NXT, that doesn't mean much. The future of this brand is still shaky, as next week, not a single match involving anyone from the division. We'll worry about that next time. So 7 out of 10 for that. So, so with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you Wednesday night. MF will have it, Brace Fan 95, as it will be Wednesday Night Mayhem. We will have AEW Dynamite, NXT, well, all the way around, NXT, then AEW Dynamite. Thursday, that's the big one, folks. Thursday night, the season premiere of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday, and I can confirm we're going to have 16 top 25 games on our docket, but there's going to be 4 of them going on Thursday night as well. So 20 altogether, but there's 4 that's going to be on Thursday. But by the time we get to the show, maybe they'll be over. Maybe some will be going on. I don't know. Maybe we'll have some bonus coverage of that. We'll see. But there are 16 games, 1 game on Friday, 14 top 25 games on Saturday, and then a Sunday night game as well. So we'll get into all that on Thursday night. And MF will have his penultimate Big 3 basketball recap. We have a championship game, folks. Who's in it? MF will tell you on that. You'll have to wait till Thursday for MF to tell you. And then Friday night, speaking of MF, his show, the Cerebral Smack Talk, the all-new Cerebral Smack Talk at our new start time of 11 p.m., immediately following AEW Rampage, as we will review both Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. And we will also preview, yes, MF?
And also a brief recap on the Empower and NWA, the 73rd anniversary is set for Wednesday night because, like you said, Anthony, you were going to go on Friday. We're previewing All Out.
And when's the All Out recap going to be?
Recap, I guess we'll wait till the following Wednesday on the Wednesday Night Mayhem.
Yeah, that might be a good idea because AEW pay-per-views have a tendency to run late.
Oh yeah.
So, and if that's the case, then I think holding it off to Wednesday till the following week's Mayhem would be the best idea. So, so you heard it. Wednesday Night Mayhem. MF just said it. In addition to our reviews of NXT and the go home to All Out edition for AEW Dynamite, MF will in a special Mikey's Mindset, MF is going to recap both NWA Empower and NWA 73. MF, I looked into the results of both shows, and I heard some positive, mostly positive reviews for both shows, and history was made on both shows, especially the men's show. So we'll get into that, and then of course, like I said, Thursday season premiere Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. 11 p.m. our new start time. Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review Friday Night SmackDown, the big main event, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor for the Universal Championship. We'll also review AEW Rampage, and on our main event, we're going to preview the AEW All Out pay-per-view, and then we'll come right back here next week for Ridiculously Raw. Great, couldn't think of a better way to cap off your Labor Day. So that's it. So until Wednesday night, from Wednesday Night Mayhem, this is Anthony Floyo signing off. On behalf of the panel, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson, and always and forever the Yankee Messiah 401 Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamer.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, as we always say, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.